Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Check out, prior to this live stream, check out my segment on Bernie Sanders on March 17th and how the states on March 17th are going to pretty much be the end of his campaign. If you look at Florida, Ohio, Illinois, and Arizona, pretty much the end of his campaign, March 17th. Also, prior to that segment, I deadlifted 315 pounds again, but this time with a 7-second hold. So I held the weight for about 7 seconds. Check it out. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to just start off with Market Watch. This is CBS Market Watch. CNN Journalist of the Year peddles false story about Trump's America, resigns. This is December 20th, 2018. Christmas came early for the false stories in the form of a German reporter getting his comeuppance for years of false reporting, including a web of lies he weaved upon a visit to Trump country back in the spring of 2017. That's how Der Spiegel's top editor, Erlich Fichtner, described the work of Klaas Relotius, a journalist who spun his yarns at the German paper for 7 years before it all came crashing down earlier this month. Relotius apparently, quote, made up stories and invented protagonists in at least 14 out of 60 articles appearing in print and on the website. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing his name correctly. The story that ultimately led to his undoing was titled Jaeger's Border, which was a mishmash of mistruths about vigilante groups conducting patrols along Arizona and Mexico. It turned out to be one fabricated story too many, and the career of the decorated reporter, once dubbed the journalistic idol of his generation, came to a screeching halt. I am sick and I need to get help, he told Der Spiegel. It wasn't because the next big thing. It was fear of failing. My pressure to not be able to fail got even bigger the more successful I became. Now, the important issue here is the public that believes all of this, especially the Democratic people who vote Democrat. There's an issue here beyond false news stories. Okay, there's an issue beyond news stories that are not true. Give me your thought. I was going to say, give me your thoughts below. But you can say, here, this is The Intercept, beyond BuzzFeed, the 10 worst, most embarrassing U.S. media failures on the Trump-Russia story. So that's just with Trump-Russia. RT hacked into and took over C-SPAN. Fortune. It never. Why would anyone hack C-SPAN? What is there? There's nothing of worth there. C-SPAN is just like, really, it's actually a treasure. It's amazing. You just get the footage without any commentary, which is so beautiful. But why would anyone hack into C-SPAN? It's like another country hacking into your local library. There's nothing to gain there. There's just nothing to gain. There's nothing to gain. Like, what do you think, like, you know, like you're watching President Trump in a news conference, and then suddenly there's like this, they edit out Trump, and it's a picture of an extraterrestrial, and you're like, oh my God, we knew it. It's like V, like the movie V. But anyway, 9, Russian hackers invaded the U.S. electricity grid to deny Vermonters heat during the winter, Washington Post. So, and by the way, this is all absurd, but what happens is really nefarious. The news stories start off with dun dun dun, oh my God. They've infiltrated the electric grid. Oh my God. Could Trump have anything to do with it? Oh my God. Dun 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 dun. And then the next day or later that day, or maybe 2 days afterwards, you get a retraction and maybe an altered headline, but all the information is already seeped out into the public consciousness. And this is an important segment, ladies and gentlemen. The information is already seeped out into the public consciousness. And what takes place is that people believe the initial story. It is, these places are literally DNC newsletters. I'm not speaking in a figurative sense. You're talking about the New York Times, the Washington Post, and CNN literally pumping stories out that only benefit the Democratic Party. There's zero benefit to Trump. Zero benefit to Trump. You can't, and these stories are not true, oftentimes. Or there's something called, context and nuance. When Democrats, when a congressional Democrat, Frank P., thank you. When a congressional Democrat makes a statement that's controversial, they demand context. They demand you look at the nuance, the context, the intent of what they try to convey. Court Kilgo! Did you see Tulsi Gabbard at the USC fight on Saturday? Court Kilgo, I didn't. Oh my God, that's so awesome. Oh my God, that's so great. That's so great. I didn't. Oh my gosh. Court Kilgo, thank you. That's so great. That's fantastic. She was, yeah. That's so great. That's so great. But here, eight new deranged anonymous groups declare mainstream political sites on the left and right to be Russian propaganda outlets. And Washington Post touts its report to claim massive Kremlin infiltration of the internet. Washington Post. And this affected YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. You have this nonsense. There's a study done, and YouTube leads people to think bad things. The left is. Do you remember when? Frank Zappa battled this and fought against this. Do you remember when people wanted to just ban music? Court Kilgo! She was in the ring with Joe Rogan. Oh my God, I didn't see that. I don't know. I'm out of it. I did see the I did see the highlights of the ring interview between Yoel Romero and Israel Adesanya. Oh my God. My respect level for Yoel Romero went up a millionfold. He was awesome. Oh my God, I loved I like Israel Adesanya too. I think he's great. But Yoel Romero was amazing in that I ended up seeing the fight just on YouTube, but when he was in the octagon, the post-fight the post-fight speech he gave, oh my God, that was awesome. That was great. I give Yoel Romero a lot of respect for what he did after that. Plus, like, he's, if you look at a lot of his fights that he lost, he really won. If you look at, I think that he did get cheated on a couple of those fights. Yoel Romero has a better record than what's really actually the case. I do think that he got cheated on a couple of those fights. But, oh my God, that was absolutely hilarious. Court Kilgo, thank you. Thank you. Why did I not know that? I should have known that. Luke St. Martin, Eric H526. C.L. Lewis, hello. Good to have you back, C.L. Lewis. So then there's everything's a Russian disinformation campaign, but see, Putin doesn't care about the U.S. election or the U.S. media, or he doesn't really care also what Americans think. This is not okay. The average American can differentiate between the absurd and the truth, between what's real and what's phony. Democrats don't think that the average American has that ability to differentiate. So that's why Democrats and media, they're like, well, if you listen to this, you'll then think this. The people used to say that a lot about my writing and the Huffington Post, The Hill, and Salon. Court Kilgo! Do you think Bernie and Tulsi will run third party? I do not. I do not believe so, Court Kilgo. Bernie will definitely not. Tulsi could, and God bless her. But I don't think she will. Bernie will not. Bernie Sanders will endorse Hillary Clinton, like he did in 2016. Bernie will not run third party. Hillary has painted Tulsi as a Russian, and the intelligence agencies have painted Bernie as being supported by Russia. Yes, and Bernie Sanders, Court Kilgo, you're 100% right. And Bernie Sanders, he sold his soul to the corrupt intelligence chiefs. So, here's the difference between Bernie and Tulsi. Tulsi Gabbard fights back. I mean, I'm voting for Trump, but I love the way I like Tulsi's foreign policy. I like the fact that she's inclusive of conservatives as well, Trump supporters. She doesn't condemn or judge other people, and I love that. This is Court Kilgo and everyone here. This is the last social media era where condemnation, judgment, pontificating, and pretending to be morally superior is a thing. That is no longer going to be relevant after Hillary Clinton loses. Clinton's going to be the nominee. And not only will the Democratic Party be completely obliterated, but the notion that you can just be on social media condemning others will be gone. Court Kilgo! If they did, do you think they would win? I don't think they would win, but I think they would decimate the Democratic Party. They would not do that. Bernie would not do that. Tulsi could, but she won't, I don't think. But Court Kilgo, they would decimate. They're already blaming Bernie Sanders. Look, after March 17th, Court Kilgo, there's going to be a Bernie dossier. What? A fire hydrant? Oh my God. The Michigas. They're gonna Court Kilgo. They're gonna after March 17th, Ohio, Arizona, Illinois, and Florida, he's gonna get swept. And if he doesn't resign or leave or drop out officially after that, you might see a Bernie dossier. Because don't think they haven't floated the idea. Don't think, ladies and gentlemen, because if they went with Trump, with the Trump dossier, and they spent 3 years looking at a Trump dossier that's complete nonsense and Bill Clinton's fantasy, I helped write it. Don't think that they're not, because Bernie knows what's going on. Almost certainly. That's why he's like, oh, Joe Biden, I love him. He's my friend. Joe Biden's my friend. So, but Court Kilgo, they would completely obliterate the Democratic Party if they did that. Because think about it. They would get, Court Kilgo, they would get 300,000 votes. At least 100 to 150,000 votes every state. They would get in California and New York, well, doesn't matter, it's going to be Democrat anyway, but they would get in swing states, they would get 100 to 200,000 votes. Democrats would lose every swing state by 100 to 200,000 votes. Douglas Paul! This is my 401k, buy some Lysol. Douglas Paul, thank you, buy some Lysol. Douglas, I'm going to get my hazmat suit from Amazon soon. It's complete with climate control, and Go on Amazon. Go on Amazon. Douglas Paul and everyone, go on Amazon. You can see hazmat suits for like $4,000. First of all, Douglas Paul, thank you. Court Kilgo, thank you. Hold on, hazmat suit. Hold on. Let's go to Amazon right now. You can buy. I did this because a wonderful person I know, I had to kind of explain not to go overboard. And so I sent hazmat. Oh my God. So, okay, where's the best ones? There's a couple with that. Okay, there's ones for $35, but there's hazmats for the 4,000 range, and those are nice. So you can buy a $230 one. That's really nice, actually. Really nice. Hold on. Hazmat suit. Oh, where's the one? Okay, okay, high to low. Okay, yes. Wait. High to low. Low to high. Hazmat suit. Hold on. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, there's 1,000. Danger Team Master Pro. Chemical hazmat reusable protective suit. Nice. Okay, the one for 4,000 is no longer on there. But this is $1,000. 1,179. So, Douglas Paul, thank you. Douglas, this is the last time I want to get my Douglas, thank you. So they're doing it with that story too. Like, yeah, it's, but it's a 1% mortality rate, 1 to 3% mortality rate. So you're okay. Just wash your hands. Don't do anything you wouldn't do, and just take a little bit more precaution. You'll be okay. Just don't do anything reckless. That's all. Then there's, okay, so we'll get to, so thank you, Douglas. 7, Trump aide Anthony Scaramucci is involved in a Russian hedge fund under a Senate investigation. Not true. Of course, that's not true, CNN. And 6, Russia attacked U.S. diplomats at the Cuban embassy using super sophisticated sonic microwave weapon. Not true. That was NBC, MSNBC, MSDNC. Then 5, Trump created a secret internet server to covertly communicate with Russian bank. Don't you love that? And then Madam Secretary spread that. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Clinton actually spread that. That's hilarious. Meanwhile, she had servers for 4 years with top secret intelligence. Okay. This is pretty amazing. This is the thing. It's come to the point where they're just making absurd claims. People believe it. People believe the absurd claims. They don't care. See, Democrats on the left, or just people on the left, or just people who don't like Trump, they'll believe anything. It's not about. They don't care because it's not about accuracy. Exactly, like 1% or so, less than 1%. Mommy. The issue with news is that it's very lucrative. Okay, nuance and context are not lucrative. These are not opinion. These are not predictions or opinions. This is supposed to be fact. Like the Washington democracy perishes in darkness. They'll believe anything because they don't have policies to believe in. Democrats don't run on Medicare for all, a Green New Deal, abolishing ICE, student loan forgiveness. They don't run on that. They use that to funnel votes back into the Democratic Party and then say, well, you know what, we don't really want it. So it's not, this is why Hillary Clinton's going to run and win. Not the presidency, but the nomination, obviously. She'll be nominee, but this is why. Because it's far more lucrative. They make a lot more money. Think of all the money they make. This is like Rocky 2, Terminator 2. The sequel always makes more money, even if it's not as good, because it's hyped up. They're not going with Biden, okay? Biden is there to simply run for Hillary Clinton, just like Mayor Pete and Amy Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren and Michael Bloomberg. Choreographed. Everything is choreographed. You might as well, like in a play, you'll have, the actors go on stage. That's exactly what happened with Klobuchar and Warren and Bloomberg. They exited the stage when they were not needed anymore, when their lines were done. This is not rocket science. There's no app that just coincidentally is linked to the former nominee. An app that doesn't work in Iowa? They started early with the cheating. They started early. So, this is not difficult to see. It's just a matter of Democrats can do virtually anything because the people who vote Democrat will believe anything that as long as an expert or as long as a journalist tells them what they want to hear. Now, as long as a corrupt intelligence official tells them what they want to hear, they'll believe it. If they don't like what they hear, then they'll say, well, the FBI didn't investigate, like during the Supreme Court nominations. Well, the FBI should have gone back in time. They didn't investigate. So they'll jettison the authority figure that they revere or they demand reverence towards whenever it doesn't suit their vantage point. They respect authority only if authority provides them with information they need. That's it. It's not like they really care about information from an authority figure. Okay, they tout these experts. Well, you should see what experts said about Madam Secretary's private server. That Robert Gates and Michael Hayden, top President Obama officials, stated that it's almost certain the entire planet hacked into the servers. But see, again, what is inconvenient for the media is never amplified. What is inconvenient is swept under the rug. So, what is inconvenient is completely swept under the rug, forgotten about, and this is why Trump is going after them. Only Trump would be able to do this. Like, if you had Bernie Sanders as president, every news story would just crush his campaign because they would do the same. This is what Bernie Sanders, I don't know if he understood this or everything that Trump endured, Bernie has endured in a different way or in the exact same way. And instead of simply saying, well, wait a second, if I don't stand up for Trump for a moment, I don't even have to defend him. I can just say, even if the intelligence agencies say that, you know what, the point is, it doesn't matter. I was cheated. Like, he could have gone that route. If he, you don't revere the intelligence. And I love when Democrats and people on the left like, you don't trust our intelligence agencies? No, I don't. Look at their track record. Would you trust a drunk driver to get behind the wheel of your car? Then why would you trust any of the intelligence agencies or intelligence officials? They're always wrong. Always wrong. On major issues. Bay of Pigs, Gulf of Tonkin. They didn't realize that the Berlin Wall would fall. Bush's endless quagmires predicated on faulty intelligence, which was preceded by the worst day in U.S. history, predicated by intelligence failures. We can go on forever. Now they're not even certain about Facebook ads. They're confident. Their judgment is highly confident. Highly confident. So, their judgment is highly confident. Then there's Washington Post 10,000 untruths is about 25% false news. So this is a Market Watch comment. President Trump, according to one well-publicized tally, has told 10,000 lies during his presidency. His falsehoods include such incredible claims, such as accurately stating the number of new jobs since his election, or Trump saying he signed executive orders that he did in fact sign, or claiming that Senator Bernie Sanders, who wants corporate taxes to increase, worker wages to rise, and stock buybacks to end, wants 401k values to dissipate. If those don't sound so fraudulent, that's because they're not. The Washington Post count of what it calls false and misleading statements, and what other media outlets quickly shorthanded to lies by Trump, is itself inflated. In trying to say that Trump peddles false statements, that in and of itself is a false statement. When they're like 10,000 lies, oh my God, most of that is removed of context, either outright wrong, like Trump did tell the truth, and they find some kind of, it's funny, they add nuance and context when there is none to be included, and then they ignore deliberately nuance and context when a statement is attributed to Trump. Don't get me started on both sides. He never meant the Tiki Torch people. Why would he mean that? Why? Well, that's because he spoke subliminally to those people. No, he didn't. Julie Lewis! H.A. Goodman will be renamed Karnak the Magnificent after the 2020 election. Love you. Thank you, Julie! Yes! I'm waiting. Thank you, Julie. Thank you. Julie Lewis, thank you so very much. Very kind of you. Yeah, we're waiting. Hillary's going to be the nominee. It's just going to be drawn out. I might have to wait until July or June because everyone has their role in the Democratic primary. And the main protagonist is Madam Secretary. It's really interesting how when you look at what's taking place, there's also a level of desire by voters on the left to believe the nonsense. So it's not just like it would be one thing if media spreads a bunch of nonsense and Democrats or would have the integrity just, not believe everything, but just kind of roll their eyes. But they believe everything. Freedom fighter! Like a dog on a bone, H.A. Goodman is on the case. Thank you! Freedom fighter, thank you! Freedom fighter, thank you! Thank you! Freedom fighter, thanks for the kind words, thank you. It's interesting because there's a willingness to just believe anything. See, when President Trump, if President Trump, there's nothing that he has stated that is the reason I'm voting for President Trump. So to Democrats, they look at things like, oh, how could you not dislike his personality? Look what it's, oh my God, you know, that's so horrible. He's capable of anything. It's like, well, that's not why I'm, like, to Democrats, people vote for Trump because they just believe all the things he says. But like, what has he said that's not true? There are corrupt intelligence officials. It's true. There are corrupt intelligence officials. Like, how is that not true? Even if you believe that Comey was above board, the IG report came with a lot of information that stated that a dossier was used because a dossier fueled 17 inaccuracies within FISA applications to investigate a person that was already known by the U.S. intelligence community as being somebody who helped the United States intel community. Carter Page helped the United States intelligence community. He wasn't a threat. He was never a threat. He was never a threat. See, this is the thing. They're not radical, but they're not sold. That's my point. My point is that even if the policies, let's say Bernie's policies, if Bernie's policy, see, this is the problem with Bernie Sanders in 2020. He has these policies that are said to be, to come from God himself. Okay. But why didn't he sell his policies correctly? Why wasn't he able to say, look, this is how much you're going to pay in taxes. You're going to have a tax increase, everybody. Why don't you own it? Don't just say payroll tax, which you still have to pay for. But why doesn't he simply say, and why doesn't AOC and every progressive say, look, your taxes will go up. Here's what you're paying in income tax now. Here's what the corporate taxes are. Your taxes will go up. That's it. Why don't you? Because the Mercatus study said you'd have to double the triple tax collection. But let's say you don't have to double the triple tax collection. Let's say that's wrong. Why doesn't Bernie simply just say, these are the tax increases? These are the tax increases. Why doesn't he simply just say that? Why doesn't he simply say that? I don't understand why he doesn't say that. He simply just has to say, look, you're not going to pay premiums, and your student loan will be forgiven, and the climate will reverse climate change, and he has to explain himself. Okay, but then he has to talk about that. If the Bernie tax is only 4%. Extra or added on to a person's current income tax, then he hasn't explained that. I haven't even heard that. Maybe that's the correct number, but he hasn't. He when did you hear about that during the debate? That's my point. They don't own it. They don't own it. Like, when Trump says something, he owns it. He's like, yeah, and this is gonna happen, and you know what? Deal with it. Trump is basically pretty honest. He's like, yeah, we're going to do this, and this is it. The deficits will go up. Yeah, it's fine. He acknowledges the deficits go up with the tax cuts. Trump acknowledges that. But see, Bernie has to acknowledge, and he didn't. Well, this is also the thing. He had to say that he was cheated. Bernie never said he was cheated, so. Also, Democrats have to pass a Medicare for All bill for Bernie to ever have a chance. That's the thing also. If Medicare for All was feasible, then Vermont would have Medicare for All. But aside from that, you have to then pass it through the House of Representatives. You have to pass it through the House of Representatives. I think I know who some people are. But he hasn't talked about it during the debates. He hasn't talked about it. He hasn't explained to the average American. Theresa King! With the stock market going down and Bernie's taxes coming up, we'd really be in a bad spot. See, the thing is, Theresa King, it's not only that. Bernie Sanders would have tax increases, but the rollout for Medicare for All and Green New Deal and everything, it's too much of a shock to the system. He hadn't explained that he did not explain how these policies were going to be rolled out. And he did not explain why they can't work within states. Like, why couldn't you have Medicare for All for a state? Well, it has to be a federal program. Why? I thought it saves money inherently. Didn't Mitt Romney want something like that kind of? Well, that was the ACA and Larry Whitaker, who will be the VP candidate. How to crush socialism. Larry. Bernie Sanders was not a he was a Democratic socialist in 2016, but he never talked about it. He hardly ever mentioned it. Now, after 4 years, they thought, okay, because a bunch of young people online like socialism, that it would resonate throughout the country. It's like, no, the Democrats are petrified. People say, well, it's a government program, it's socialism. No, that's not socialism. But you need capitalism to have a functioning society. You need capitalism to have a functioning society. Once tax rates are too high, the economy tanks. So, and there's many examples of that. But Larry Whitaker, who will be the VP candidate, I think it could be Elizabeth Warren. It could be Hillary Clinton and Elizabeth Warren. Warren has taken one for the team. My God, she's been a loyal subject to the Democratic Party. Theresa King, thank you. See, Bernie's movement online, like you can retweet something and you don't have to get into the specifics. And the way the left works, and especially like it never used to be like this way. Like Bernie Sanders, 2016 was never when I was published and editors signed off and gave me a stamp of approval for all my articles in the Huffington Post, The Hill, and Salon, and other Cleveland Plain Dealer. I never said vote for Bernie Sanders because it's the moral thing to do. Once you inject morality and judgment and condemnation, you've lost. You've lost, especially when your policies are not feasible. And even if they are feasible, why haven't they passed? Why haven't they passed? Why haven't they passed Congress? J.S. Bannon said today, I didn't gloat when it called Bloomberg getting in the race, but I definitely will gloat when Clinton gets it. It's so obvious. J.S., thank you, J.S. I will say for the record that Bannon was a couple years after me, because I wrote in February of 2017. My article was Clinton 2020. Thank you, J.S. Thank you, J.S. Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. That's in February 17. Can I just tell you, when Clinton takes it, she's just gonna, thank you, JS, she's just going to, it's gonna be not just the best thing for both my channels and my writing and me, because it'll vindicate every single thing I have ever said. But it will be a very healthy thing for the Democratic Party to have Hillary Clinton as nominee, because it will show. You know what? There's a lot of philosophy in one of the most philosophical songs of all time is MC Breed's "Ain't No Future in Your Frontin'." There ain't no future in your frontin'. See, Democrats have their own song. The only future we have is frontin', and then the remix, "Frontin' is our only future." And that's all we do is front. So that's all they do. They pretend that, look at Bill de Blasio's running. Oh my God. Bill de Blasio. He's a great candidate. He's fantastic. I think I'm voting for Bill de Blasio for president. You think so? Yeah. No, I like Kirsten Gillibrand. Really? This is so great. There's so many people running. How about Avenatti 2020? He's great. I'm going to vote for him. There's 30 people running. There's 30 people running in the Democratic primary. This is definitely not rigged. How could it be? There's 30 people running. How could it be? How could they cheat with so many people running? That's impossible. It's impossible to cheat when you have so many people running. Oh, people are leaving. Oh, people are leaving. Oh, they're dropping out. Gosh, that's how tough the presidential race contest is. Oh, now there's 5 people, 6 people. Oh, now they all dropped out after and before Super Tuesday. Oh, that's bizarre. And an app didn't work when they could have used a calculator? Why don't you use a calculator in Iowa? Are there no calculators in Iowa? Why don't you use a calculator in Iowa? Why is there an app that they have to use? Gosh, we have this sophisticated app that actually adds, tabulates, addition. We don't know what else we could do. We had to develop an app, a phone app. Didn't work. We're going to spend three days. So, yeah. Tim Slater! John Sununu said on Fox today, Hillary setting herself up for VP. They're going to slide in. Tim, thank you. I think that they can't fathom Clinton as the nominee, Tim, because I can tell you from the personality traits that Clinton has, Madam Secretary will never, ever, in a million years, ever, in a trillion years, ever, in a billion ice ages, ever, in 1,000 ever-expanding universes that increase in size to infinity to the 1,000th power ever, except second fiddle. It ain't going to ever happen. It would never happen. It would never, ever happen. It would never, ever, 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 ever happen. Clinton would never accept second fiddle. Oh my goodness. You want to know who was president, really? It wasn't me. It was the First Lady. Why do you think I had so much stress? I tried Pilates. I tried hacky sack. Almost tore my ACL. How do you hit that hacky sack ball? I'm okay with hitting balls in baseball. Get your mind out of the gutter. But hacky sack is a game, I think, developed by the guy below with a pitchfork. Oh my God. Hacky sack didn't alleviate the stress. I had to do something. I didn't know what to do. I have sinned. Please forgive me. What is. Tim Slater, John Sununu, John Sununu and Steve Bannon and Tim Slater, thank you. I just think that we're media is like one step away from telling people to buy hazmat suits. Oh, they're loving this, by the way. Oh my god, they are loving this. Anything. It could be anything. It could be anything. So yeah, I mean, let's look at Hillary Clinton. What are the chances that there's a news story like an hour ago? Oh, that's right. Here you go. 3 hours ago. Hillary Clinton to deliver keynote address at Disney's 3rd annual Women's Day. Thank you. Awesome. That's fantastic. She's weighing in on Trump every moment. It's so great. Oh my god, it's so great. Oh, this is the best. I love this so much. Like, Democrats for the next couple of months are going to hear this dun 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 what? But I'll just hear the most lovely sound. It'll be so beautiful. And then you get like the Medicare for all, man. Medicare for all, man. What? Hillary? What? No, it's Medicare for all. Look behind you. Look behind you. That dorsal fin is not. That dorsal fin is attached to a pantsuit. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen. To my super chat, thank you so very, very much. Everyone, check out my segment where I deadlift 315 pounds, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. It's a couple segments ago. To my super chat, thank you. I will be back today. We'll have another live stream in about 4 hours or so. And then I'll have some uploads tonight, then a live stream. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so very much. To my super chat, thank you. I'll see you today, everybody. Again, God bless. Have a fantastic, fantastic day. Thanks for a great upload, great live stream.